Hello 3L. So this is a video that's going to help you do your action project report at home. Now in class we have done from question 3B onwards. The first few questions, don't worry about those. That'll only take us, we can do those together, and that'll only take us 10 to 15 minutes, and we will do them either this week or next week. If you haven't done it already, I want you to do 3B. Now, if you don't have, if you're at home and you've lost your copy of the action report, not the real one, the copy. So if you've lost it, I've left a link in the description below, and that's a link to where you can download a new copy and print it off at home. I'm also going to timestamp this video so that you can skip forward to different questions, so you don't have to just watch 3B, 3C, skip forward to question 4, question 5, whatever. So we'll start looking at 3B first. 3B says here, write a list and brief description of the main tasks and activities undertaken as part of your action project. Now, this is the one where they want us to talk about what we did as a class. I explained this in class. The best way to write this is to kind of break it up into different committees. So we had various different committees that organized different parts of the action report. The first one was the contact committee, and those were the people who organized the guest speaker. So we had the contact committee, and then we also had the meet and greet committee. And the meet and greet committee, they were in charge of meeting the guest speaker and also thanking him afterwards. So I remember Oscar, he thanked afterwards and handed over, I think, a box of chocolates and a card. And then there was the bake sale manager committee. So I'll just put BS, bake sale, and then managers committee. And then we had the bakers committee. The bake sale managers committee, they were the girls who went around and asked everybody what they were going to bake and on what night. The bakers committee is anybody who baked something. And then we had the publicity committee. Now, almost all of you were involved in the publicity committee. They were the committee that created posters. I think it was the Tuesday of the first night of the bake sale, and they helped hang these posters around downstairs, around the lobby and around the dining room, so people knew there was a bake sale going on. And then there was also a sales committee. Now, a sales committee is anyone who was promoting it, like walking around and saying, oh, we have a bake sale, or it was anybody who was selling, or it was anybody who was dealing with money. It was also anybody who helped set up the evening. Now, what you have to do is, this is going to be a 2-page document. On the screen here, you're only seeing a snippet. So it's 2 pages, and you don't have to fill those 2 pages exactly. But what you do need to do is write a short paragraph for each committee. Now, the short paragraph should be 3 to 4 sentences long, explaining what the committee did. So you would say, for example, the contact committee were responsible for organizing the guest speaker. They contacted Focus Ireland via email, and a guest speaker was sent out to our school to teach us about the terrible homelessness crisis in Dublin. Then you might talk about the sales committee. The sales committee were responsible for selling the baked goods to the customers. The sales committee were required to be kind, polite and charming so that people would buy goods. And then the sales committee were also responsible for making sure that people got the correct change, that all the money was kept safe and organized, and that the produce was displayed so that people could see everything, and it was displayed in such a way that it looked quite nice. So you have to do a short paragraph for each committee. So that's 6 committees there. And about 3 to 4 sentences per paragraph. Now that will fill up 2 pages easily. Okay, so if you haven't done that, pause this video now or go back to the start where I start talking about it and write it out. Now you do not have to write out a list like this. Maybe what we might say is, as your opening sentence at the very top, what you could write is to do our action project. To do our action project, we made a list of all the jobs that needed to be done. Of all the jobs that needed, excuse my handwriting, needed to be done. We then divided into these groups. And then you will write here, contact committee, and then put another dash or whatever, and then explain here, the contact the contact committee were responsible for contacting Focus Ireland, who sent us a guest speaker, and you explain. And then you start a new paragraph. When you've finished explaining this, you start a new paragraph and you explain what the meet and greet committee did. So you should have this opening sentence, which is you can find in your textbook, at the back of your textbook. And then you should have 6 paragraphs, each paragraph explaining what each committee did. Okay, so pause it here and do that if you haven't already done it. Now, part 3, question 3, part C. In B, we were looking at all the different committees that were involved in organising the action project. Now you have to give a detailed account of one particular task or activity from B that you undertook as part of your action project. So, for example, if you helped organise the bake sale, you would talk about how you organised it, what you did, how you collected everybody's names, what you found out what they were going to make. You asked them when they were able to make it, how much they were able to make it, when they could bring it in. You made sure that they didn't put any nuts in the food. So what you're going to do here is you're going to look at B and you're going to pick one committee that you were involved in. And then you are going to talk about, now this is 1 page long, okay? But you don't have to fill it. If you fill it 3/4, it depends on your handwriting. Some people have small handwriting, they'll only fill half the page, and that's okay. Some people have big handwriting, they'll fill it, no problem. But it's 1 page long, and the most important thing that you do here is you say I. So you'll start off saying something like, I was a member, that's a weird M, I was a member of the publicity committee. So now you have to talk about what you did as part of the publicity committee. So I was a member of the publicity committee. It was my job to make sure that people knew about the bake sale. There were a number of different things that I had to do in order to do that. For example, I had to go around to all the different classes and let them know that there was going to be a bake sale on the night of the school show. I was also responsible for making posters. In the posters, I wanted to advertise the bake sale and also advertise or promote the charity that we were fundraising for. And then you could talk about hanging the posters up and choosing the best place to put them so that the most amount of people see where they are. And then you could talk about maybe how you maybe walked around the crowd and helped people tell people about the bake sale that was going on, because the bake sale was in the corner of the canteen and maybe not everybody saw it. So here you just have to explain what you did. There is no we, okay? So no we. It's not we did this, we did that, okay? No we. Always I. I did this, I did that. And go into detail about what you had to do. Like, talk about how you had to make sure that you brought the right materials to make the posters, how you had to use the correct colors. You chose to use impactful colors that would catch people's eyes, like red. You didn't use light colors that might be, blanched or kind of people couldn't see in the bright lights. Do things like that. So you have to just expand. Okay, that's section C, and it's 1 page. And remember, it's I, what you did. Now, this is section 3D. Okay. Again, it's building upon, you can't see D there, I had to crop it. There's 3 parts to question 3D. You have to talk about 2 different skills. Okay, here's the first skill, and I just had to crop out the picture, but here's the second skill. You have to first list the skills you used. Now, they want you to talk about the skills you used on the previous page. That's the skills you used in 3D. So, for example, we talked about the publicity committee. So one skill, the first skill that you might have used for the publicity committee was your communication skills. Okay? Communication skills. And the second skill you might have used is your creativity skills. And then you have to describe how you use them. So with your communication skills, you could talk about how you had to, on the night of the bake sale, talk to all the different parents and adults and try to, convince them, encourage them. Use words like convince and encourage them to go to the bake sale and to buy something and to support you because you were raising money for charity. You also, some of you went around to different classrooms and you were communicating with people younger and older than you. You're the first years, second years, fifth years, fourth years, sixth years. You had to make sure that you told them the right information, that you gave them what they needed to know so that they could tell their parents, and you said it clearly so they understood it. So these were all communication skills. So you just have to describe that here. Again, you don't have to fill it. It depends on your handwriting size. Some of you will fill this up easily. Some of you might only fill half of it. But describe how you use these skills. If you were on the meet and greet team, you also used communication skills. If you were on the bake sale organizers committee, you were on the communication skills. If you were one of the bakers, you might not have used communication skills. You might have used your organizational skills, because you had to organize all the ingredients you needed, and you had to make sure that you had the right amount of it and that your timing was correct, and maybe you had to practice your recipe if you hadn't done it before. You had to think about how you're going to bring it into school. You had to tell the person who was in charge of organizing it how much you were going to bring, etc. And then the second skill is, I've written down here, creativity. Now on the page, you'll have more space down here. It'll be the same as this description, same amount. So you'll talk about, say, creativity skills. So you wanted to make a catchy slogan which caught people's attention. You wanted to have posters that weren't just kind of going to be missed. People noticed them. You put them in bright colors and you made interesting images. And it caught people's attention and made people interested in what you wanted to tell them. So these are creativity skills. So have a think about different skills you used, and then you have to just describe how you used them. Okay? So this is the final part of 3D. It's at the bottom of the page. Up here, this is the bottom of the description of the second skill you were describing, okay? Now, at the bottom it says, explain why one of these skills was important in carrying out your action project. Now, you pick one skill, so we were talking about organization, creativity, communication. Let's say organization. Why was organization an important skill? Well, maybe your job was organizing the bake sale on the night of the play. You had to organize how everything was set up, and you had to organize that all the things that were going to be sold were spread out in such a way that everyone could see them, and that people would walk past, pick up what they needed, and then go and pay. So that's the description of the skill. Now you have to explain why it's important. So you have to say, it was very important that I used my organization skills because we were selling our baked goods in the break of the play, and a lot of people came all at once, and we had to sell as much as we could in little time. So it was very important that I had everything laid out and ready to go, so people could just come in very quickly, see clearly what they could get, and then pay for it straight away. So this is the explanation of how your skill was important. It doesn't have to fill this whole paragraph. It depends on the size of your handwriting. 3 to 4 sentences explaining why would be perfect. Section 4. Okay, now this is a very important section because it's worth quite a lot of marks. Now, they want you to pretty much list and also briefly describe 5 different pieces of information that you've acquired. Now, the slideshow that the guest speaker showed us, I have that, and it's going to be put up on Edmodo, so you'll be able to access that. And I'll also, in the link below, I will put the information for Focus Ireland's website, where you can get a lot of information from as well. And I'll also share up some other bits and pieces. It'll be in the link below. It'll be in a link in the description down below. This section, though, you would start off saying something like, I learned a number of different things. So I learned a number of different things from doing my action project. Now, you can just list them, but you have to describe them as well. Sorry. That should be, ignore that, my action project. And then you can just do this. Okay. Then you can put a number 1 and you can start describing the first fact. So maybe you learnt that homelessness is more prominent than you thought. Homelessness can take the form of visible homelessness that you see, which is actually only a small percentage of homeless people. People in emergency accommodation aren't acknowledged as much as rough sleepers are. So that's more invisible homeless. So you'd start sentences with phrases like, I found out that. I found out that. Da 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 da. And then that might be 3 sentences long, or 4 sentences. And then you might say, I learned that. Da, 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 da. And again, 3 or 4 sentences long. And then the third fact might be, I discovered that. No, my spelling. I discovered that. Da, 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 da. So you have to pick 5 facts, okay, and explain them as best you can. Use numbers if they're relevant, which they will be for this. Don't talk about your feelings here. It's more about the information you learned. And make sure there's 5. Now, section 5, for some of you, will be a little bit difficult. it's worth the same amount as section 4, so it's a big chunk of the marks. I think it's 25% of the action project. So that's 15% of your total grade actually, for the whole, because the action project is worth 60% and your exam is worth 40%. So a quarter of 60 is 15. So this section here and the previous section are both worth 15%. So it's important that you put in effort into writing out the facts properly and make sure that you explain them, giving details. And now the reflection is harder. In the reflection, they are asking you to give reasons, okay? Why these experiences? So the experiences that you had, so think back on the different experiences you had while doing your action project. And you have to give reasons why these experiences help to shape your thoughts and opinions. They want you to write about 3 different experiences. So if we think about the whole action project, I'm going to list out a few different experiences that I know you had. The first was deciding on what to do. Deciding on the topic. Deciding on the topic. So remember at the start of the year, we all proposed different ideas, and then we sort of debated what would be the best, and then we had a vote, and then we decided on what topic we were going to do, what we were going to learn about, who we were going to invite in to teach us about that, and ultimately how we wanted to raise money for that, which ended up being Focus Ireland. So deciding on the topic at the start of the year, that was an experience, because we all split up into groups, if you remember, and each group looked at different ideas relating to the different strands of CSPE. And there was different suggestions. Some people suggested homelessness, some people suggested cleaning up the Dodder, which would have been related to stewardship. Other people suggested a mock election, which would be related to democracy. Of course, our action project that we did is related to human dignity, and that homelessness obviously is related to human dignity. So deciding on the topic was one experience. Another experience we had was organizing and meeting and learning from the GS, the guest speaker. Now, in your actual project, don't use acronyms. I'm just using them here to keep this video a little bit shorter. So organizing and meeting and learning from the guest speaker. So that's another experience that you had. Another experience we had was organizing the bake sale. Now that's a huge experience. We talked about different ways we were going to raise money. We decided on having a bake sale. Then we had to divide up into groups to help organize that bake sale. We had to do different things. We had to contact Mr. Forrest and get permission. We had to ask Mr. Malofsky for his permission so that we could have it on that night. We had to ask Miss Stevenson, could we have it on that night? We had to decide what nights we were going to do. We had to decide who was baking what. It was a lot of organization. So it was a big experience. And then another experience was doing the actual bake sale. Doing the BS, bake sale, okay? Again, don't write acronyms in yours. I'm just writing it here so it's quicker. Bake sale. Doing the bake sale. So doing the bake sale on the night, meeting parents, meeting other visitors to the school, selling things. For some of you, it might have been the first time doing a bake sale. For you, it might be your first time selling something that you have made yourself. It might be the first time that you've actually done fundraising. It might have been the first time where you've been in charge of a till or a float, where you took money in and then you gave change and you had to make sure that you had the correct amount of money. It was the first time maybe that you were organizing and thinking about how things were going to be set up to be sold. So they were all various different experiences. So I've listed 4, but you're not limited to those 4. Now you have to pick 3. And you have to give reasons why these experiences help to shape your thoughts and opinions. And you have to link them to either human dignity or you have to link them to sort of the experience, how the experience helped the action project. But that's going to be easy because all the experiences were part of the action project. So if we take the second one, organizing and meeting and learning from the guest speaker, you're going to write a paragraph all about the guest speaker. Now, you're not going to talk about organizing for him to get here. You're going to talk about what you thought beforehand, what you thought homelessness was before you met the guest speaker, what you thought were the issues surrounding homelessness, why people were homeless, and how many people might be homeless. And then you're going to say, the guest speaker taught me that actually homelessness is a bigger problem, or it's a different type of problem. Maybe for the reasons that you thought people were homeless, you thought people maybe became homeless because of drug abuse. Actually, there's many more reasons. There's violence in the home, people losing their job, people getting sick and not being able to pay their bills, depression. And you learnt all these from the guest speaker. And then you have to talk about how that makes you feel now, reflecting back. So you have to talk about your feelings, about something that you saw and how it made you feel, something that you heard, how it made you feel, something that you did, how it made you feel. Maybe doing the bake sale helped you feel more confident. Talking to people that you didn't know was something that scared you before. And after doing it with the support of your friends in your class and your classmates and your teacher, with support from them, you were able to, talk to people you didn't know in the bake sale and sell things and act in a professional manner. And that this gave you confidence. So we want to write things like during the during the action project I felt like I thought I knew about homelessness. During the action project I felt scared of organizing the bake sale because it seemed like a lot of work, but actually with help and taking it slowly, I was able to do many things that I didn't think. This made me feel more confident because I saw that I could do something that I didn't think I could do. So it's things like that. You are thinking back on how you felt before and how this action project changed how you felt and how you feel now. So it's kind of a past to present. So how you felt, what happened, now how do you feel? And again, it's 3 different experiences and how they helped to shape your thoughts and opinions. And they have to be related to human dignity or your action project. Now, the first 2 here are both related to human dignity. Okay? The second 2 are both related to your action project. So you can pick 3 of those and think of moments of learning and growth within those. I will help you with this. If you have any questions, you can leave comments on Edmodo, or you can come to me in the staff room. I am in the staff room Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I will also leave my email, my school email, but you can message me through Edmodo, but I'll leave my school email on the Edmodo page, so you can email me that way either, and I will help you with it. Now we have 2 weeks to fill out the action project. It's plenty of time. We will get it done. I will help you do it. but you just need to have a think and fill out the sections that are easier for you to do by yourself at home, which is 3B, 3C, 3D, and section 4. If you get that chunk done at home using this video, you'll be in a good position. And if you can try and do section 5, that'd be brilliant as well. Okay, hopefully this video helped. And remember, look in the description below where I've left a load of links to help you, and ask me questions if you need help. I am very quiet on Monday, so I can help you on Monday. Very busy on Tuesday, very quiet on Wednesday. I can help you Monday. I won't have as much free time on Tuesday, but I will definitely be able to help you on Wednesday as well. Okay,